Welcome back to the Hellcase Cup 8. We're going to be going into our second map of the best of three. Of course, Nemiga pretty much bodied HAVU in the first one. It was a brutal affair, a lot of aggression, a lot of solo plays, but it was Nemiga that came out on top, and we didn't really see the heights we wanted to see from HAVU.
No, there were a lot of rounds where they couldn't really get into it, it felt like, but hopefully here on Dust2 they'll have a better time of things. Both these teams favor the T side of Dust2 fairly decently, but HAVU, I think, did win the knife round and chose this CT start, so interested to see how that works out for them as we get underway into the pistol.
Yeah, maybe just wanting to have the opportunity to start things off strong. Nice flashbang going through, but Doto is going to be able to escape. Obviously, we're still seeing how teams adapt to the changes in the doors. Doto already dinked up, will be left low. There's a second player here, but Geo just goes launching through the doors. And now this pistol round is looking bleak. In fact, Lollipop's actually going to go pushing back into middle, expecting the rotations to come through there. Hoody, in the meantime, has made his way through the spawn and Box's position. He really doesn't need to peek this. Just hold the angles, stay back, and wait for these players to come through. But Box, yeah, he is one of the most infuriating players to watch in the whole of Counter-Strike, I'll be honest. Sometimes you do really have to question his decisions. Lollipop's just gone peeking as well. And now Jago's all on his lonesome. The time is ticked far enough away that it really shouldn't matter. But I just don't understand why we see Nemiga taking so many risks. Luckily, ZOREE was not close enough to eventually get there with the kit. But, well, it really wasn't necessary.
Yeah, Box is not a patient man, I think it's fair to say. Same with Lollipop, I suppose. But the round was basically won at that point. They could have just sat back and held the crossfire, though, which probably would have been the best way to deal with it. But it's all good. Nemiga win the pistol round and get off to a strong start on their T side. And I think this really is a must for Nemiga. Looking at the odds over on Unicorn, they are favoring Nemiga after that first map win and the pistol round here on Dust. But as I was suggesting earlier, Nemiga's win percentage on their T-side rounds is 52%, which is fine. You're going to average a 7 or 8 round half. Their CT win percent is 42% on Dust2, which is pretty low. So I think Nemiga are probably going to want to get 9 or maybe even 10 rounds on the board if their CT side is going to be that weak. And they started off strong in this one. Spiidi landing a nice shot down mid with the scout. HAVU not really reacting to that either, not really moving. So they've got 2 players on long, 2 players on B. And really, I find it hard to see a way in which HAVU win this round right now with how they're set up. Assuming Nemiga just group up and push a site together, they should be able to win out the trades in a 5v2 advantage. But Nemiga are staying spread out for the time being, which could be risky for them here.
Lollipop has spotted 2 players on long, so that will give a decent amount of information as to where, well, basically the space should be. Interestingly, though, they're actually going to challenge him for mid. Lollipop will win his duel eventually, but this is the more important of the 2. MDS, nice transition. That's fantastic. Makes things nice and easy, and of course, Box is going to go fighting for that last kill. Like a hungry, hungry hippo. He's a little bit greedy.
That's something that MDS is really good at, I think, is those spray transfers. I've seen him land a couple of those, particularly in that mid position. Here's that shot from Spiidi again. Tight angle, scout shot down mid, bish, bash, bosh. Around win for Nemiga. And we'll get to see what HAVU have ahead of this round. The answer is not a great deal. Just a few pieces of utility brought into this one. They smoked down mid to try and push through and try and catch the players out, but Spiidi spotted that. And even though he takes a dink, he's just given the information to his teammates, which is the main thing. Another tag lands. HAVU decide to retreat over to short, but MDS is ready. Well, not ready enough, apparently. He gets dealt with.
Yeah, this is already starting to get a little bit too costly. Box is going to look to try and trade out some of these kills, make some extra money. Pad those stats a little bit. They are actually still smoking onto short, but surely the realization should be there that the B site is going to be clear. Box leading the charge. Now there is still sLowi just underneath. They've got to be careful for, as there's not really anything to lose for the CT side, so they can go pushing through the smoke. The round, however, now is going to be done. There's not really anything they can do about it. However, ZOREE picking up not only an AK, but also some extra utility, so not a bad round from him whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely look to save that AK at this point, especially with Hoody's money, for example. Saving the AK might make all the difference to get an even better buy into this next round. I assume Box will go hunting with the MAC-10 here, knowing him. Lollipop there with a good wallbang kill, and they seem somewhat aware that sLowi could be close here. Box has got 2 low health players against him, so the MAC-10 should have an easy time of things, cleaning up these kills. And ZOREE will just go ahead and sit in the pit, trying to save this AK. Box is the man running him down, but this headshot angle won't be good for the MAC-10. ZOREE takes Box away at the end there, and will be allowed to save this AK over. So an extra gun for HAVU to work with in this round. Should help there by just a little bit more. ZOREE can also buy an AWP if he wants it. See if he elects to go for that. I'd expect him to probably go for the sniper and drop this AK to a teammate, but ZOREE would rather focus on keeping his own economy strong by the looks of things. He's bought that armor already, and he's sticking with the AK-47 that he saved over. Meanwhile, on the Nemiga side of things, SpeedAx got a scout, but the rest of the gang are all on AKs, and that A-long smoke had a little gap in it, which allows some early damage to be done onto hoody.
Yeah, this almost comes across as a little bit of a bonus round, even though it's mostly rifles for Nemiga. They've done so well at actually building up some cash that they can comfortably buy in, even with an AWP into the next. For HAVU, this is where they really need to get off to a start now. You can't allow Nemiga to build up this momentum, as it can definitely spiral out of control with this team. ZOREE taking a little bit of a tag, but it's more so hoody who's the one low on HP. The fight for long actually dealt a dink. So Lollipop is just going to have to fall off. A minute left on the clock. Decisions definitely still to be made. And again, we see this very loose hold from HAVU. Middle is just going to be given up, looking to fight from within the sites. And well, in reality, I'm not sure I like this.
Oh, SpeedAx almost got the timing right to take that fight in at mid. 4 assists to his name with these scout shots landed earlier, and here is that aggression. JO ready for it, easy headshot, and now Doto is in a whole world of trouble on the B site. Silenced M4 as well, so getting multiple kills is, well, not possible now. MDS gets the entry kill. This B site has been pretty successful for Nemiga to start this game off, and with HAVU not having the mid presence, the split onto B is a little too easy. Nemiga about to get their 4th round win.
Yeah, I said it just moments ago. I understand that there's a lot of gambles taken when it comes to Dust2. Like, it's such a broad map, and there's so many powerful positions that need to be battled for, but in all honesty, if you're going to have a passive hold like that with nobody controlling middle, I don't like the idea of the aggression into tunnels. Like, because if you lose that duel, you're basically giving up the round. You're relying on one player to hold onto the whole map, and that's just an unrealistic gamble to take. I imagine it was just because HAVU believed it'd be an A-hit. That from Saw is wonderful, though. Just killed off 3 players, created some cost, and also made sure that the remaining weapons on his team are going to be saved. It will only be Lollipop and MDS staying alive. Not that it's the end of the world for Nemiga, as they do have plenty of cash already. But more importantly, for the CT side, they can now get a buy and even an AWP into this next round.
And nice slide out for Saw at the end. Again, though, no way for them to win that round. They've got to focus on this one instead and make sure that Nemiga don't get too far into the lead. SpeedAx watching the mid doors, but no one there to take the shot at. HAVU again focusing on A long early. Pretty similar setup to the previous round so far. We'll see if they switch it up, though. I hope they do have a man somewhat closer to mid, somewhat closer to CT, because the way they're playing right now, Nemiga could actually just run up through the mid doors at the start of the round, which is something teams do sometimes, and it could be very effective here with how HAVU are playing. If you just put that CT smoke down and start to split B, these B players are so isolated, and it is that similar setup happening here for HAVU. They were trying that boost over the top into the tunnels. That doesn't work for them, and MDS has taken that mid control. It looks like Nemiga have realized this might be a weak point.
Yeah, and they're actually just using ZOREE as kind of a spotter, I guess, but yeah, again, it just seems like such a risk. Like, if the smoke falls into CT, it really could just set them up nicely. There is ZOREE, though, and this time they don't actually utilize the smoke. It will go down a little bit later, as they do still look to try and maybe make this split work, but they've lost the man advantage. Again, though, it's going to be heavy reliance on sLowi, and I don't know, that just seems, again, just such a risk. There's no chance for a trade. there's no real opportunity to get anything else done. And again, they know that there's only one player on this B site now, so Doto's about to come under fire. He needs, at a minimum, 2. He needs 2 kills just to give them a chance in this round. They are going to be lining up. The chance is there first, and now the rest of the team need to start running. They need to start getting moving into this site, as he won't get anything else done. The rotations are being held by MDS, and it's left all onto ZOREE and hoody, and unless they're going to find someone quickly, this round is already over.
It's just such a slow response from HAVU, even on the rotate. They don't get anywhere near the B site before the first kill comes in for Doto there, and it's just way too late. He's not getting the support he needs. HAVU might have to rethink this setup because Nemiga have already shown their willingness to counter it, their ability to just split onto B. And I think part of the problem is that, especially in the older version of Dust2, a lot of teams would heavily focus that A bomb site because you can get up onto short, you can get up onto catwalk and just quickly go for those A executes and oftentimes get the bomb down. But the B site can be vulnerable, can be even more vulnerable to some extent now with those doors being flipped round. It can make it a bit easier for the Ts to move on in. And just no resistance being shown from HAVU at mid, so maybe it's time to change that over on the Finnish side of things. At least they continue to save some guns so they can try and keep on going with their buys, but it's been a fairly easy start for Nemiga here. It doesn't feel like HAVU have put up too much resistance in these early gun rounds. With a 5-0 lead, Nemiga will be pretty happy with how things are going, but maybe this double AWP setup will be the switch up that HAVU are looking for. They can have an AWP over on the B side of the map or focused on mid. That's at the cost of losing A long, though. This is the first time HAVU haven't stacked A long heavily, and they lose that portion of the map early on.
Yeah, I don't really mind that as much, though. I feel like there was so much being exploited by the fact that they didn't have any control in middle, that to switch things up to try and deny that middle presence is absolutely fine. Especially if you regain short control for the majority of the round, it doesn't really matter as much if long goes missing. An A retake is definitely much more plausible than going for a B retake when you don't have control of middle. Like that's just impossible. So at least setting themselves up in a slightly better scenario for my liking. Saw also being relatively aggressive. He may even be able to hear any movement if they do start pushing in towards long. And it definitely seems like the remaining CTs have a good idea about what's currently going on. Still, though, it is going to be, although a player in mid, it's the same player that was initially on the B side. So there's still some weaknesses within the defense, and we'll have to see whether or not ZOREE can step up to the mark. He's had a decent showing so far. The flash is going to leave him completely blind, and re-peeking this angle now, he'll know that there's a big risk of Spiidi being on the other side.
Utility to be traded. Oh, that lineup does damage across the board, but it only gets the 1 kill. Flash comes back in, and hoody absolutely destroys them, mows them all down. The flash from sLowi was absolutely perfect, and Spiidi is just trying to land some shots at the end here, but that won't be happening. Great utility from HAVU, and then a great spray from hoody.
Yeah, unusual that you see it with the silenced M4 as well, so the fact that he gets away with so much is relatively surprising. There's always a risk of lining up like that. Of course, the reason Nemiga are close to the wall is you can avoid a lot of the shoulder peaks which teams are going to be going for. He was unlucky not to get more than one just in that spray alone, but the second flashbang was just as good as the first. The timing of it couldn't have been better, and there was nothing that the Ts could really do. So back to mid they go, back to fighting in the early stages. An aggressive push from MDS, who can be quite hit and miss on Dust2. Lollipop yet to really have the same impact in this match so far. Flashbang again. sLowi just going to have to be forced all the way back. Now with the AWP, he has a little bit more of an angle to fight into middle, but even still, they really have struggled thus far in this match.
Bomb has been left behind by Nemiga, and Jayo's trying to lurk out through this smoke on B. He might get the timing right here. Oh, they're not looking. They're not looking. Jayo almost lines up 2 kills. Thankfully, Doto recovers in time, but in comes that rotate, and it's cut off by Spiidi. They'll go back for that bomb on the Nemiga side of things. They'll start to move that over to B, and Doto has another round where it's so hard for him to hold this.
And no one's moved.
Yeah, they're so slow on these rotates. That's the big problem, really.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised by this, if I'm honest. HAVU have known how aggressive they've been into this B site. It's still patient, and because they're not actually making a play past this Molotov, there should actually be enough time for them to get a second player towards B, even with how slow they've been. Doto, though, is still going to have to be Mr. Reliable. The flashbang going through, another incendiary, and that might actually be the moment to change. They know that there's at least 2 players on this B site, and this flank is going to be too late. Nemiga, I think they've got this spot on with their rotation. It's dependent on where they're going to go, but they are just going to head their way up short, still throwing the smoke over as a bait. Won't allow anybody to come back, and Nemiga have played this to perfection as long as they get the bomb down in time, which, well, we did see Na'Vi do that once. I'm praying to God we're not going to see that from Nemiga, and we won't.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that's worst about this for HAVU is I feel like this is going to reinforce that they might not want to rotate over to B in the future, because the one time they do it, it goes against them. Nemiga slipped through the cracks, and HAVU are still having a go at this, but I think with Spiidi landing that shot, that should really put this one to bed. And there's a flank on short. Oh, they're in trouble. Box is here. Ooh, Box isn't landing shots, though. So if they get away safely, HAVU will be allowed to save a couple of guns.
I think Box is the only thing he hit.
Pretty much. Shooting his own kind. Not very nice of him.
Yeah, that was a really nice round from Nemiga, though. I think the calls have been spot on with their rotations. The other thing as well is, although you can't really take anything away from HAVU in that moment, the second incendiary does make it very obvious that there's 2 players there, unless someone just had one on the floor and somehow managed to go retrieve it from mid and then come back again. Slim chance. So the second you realize there's 2 players out of 3 on the B site, it does make it relatively easy for Nemiga. Of course, there could have been a player in lower tunnels, and really that just came down to timing. I don't necessarily think the HAVU did anything wrong, but with the push coming all the way through spawn, might have been worth just holding off some of the utility. Lollipop finally given that chance to find an opening jewel, but he won't, in fact. It's going to be Hoodie and Saw to do the work. They have still given up some of long control, and Box has got to be careful here. It's not like he's just giving up his life if he goes down. It would have been the bomb, so he's just going to have to fall back.
Yeah, first time we've really seen both teams go for a heavy commitment at A-Long, and I think it's a positive sign for HAVU that they end up winning out on the trade. It's always a position that CTs want to hold, and they feel much more comfortable if they hold it off early. And ZOREE will continue to be focused on long, but Nemiga are just loving this B-bomb site right now. sLowi and Doto have generally done okay on the hold so far. They've at least normally got some kills.
sLowi has no kills, so I think you might be selling that a little bit
It's
off.
more Doto. It's more Doto. Look, I was just trying to be nice, Tom. I was just trying to be nice.
He doesn't even have any ADR. He's having a rough one. I would
thought
rather
he had 1 assist, didn't he?
I would rather, yeah, but I think I'm guessing that was 1. And it was quite low.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's not been going great,
no.
and it's going to continue to not go great. Box has got the first. It's left onto Doto, and he will fall into the 2 versus 2 we go. And Spiidi just looking to try and hold, and he's just so good. Doesn't miss. Easy kill for him. It's left onto ZOREE in a 1 versus 2, and normally I would be looking at a save, but when you're this far down, I want to see this man like taking the fight, taking a risk, giving this a go. He's someone who can dominate on a map like Dust2. He definitely has the talent to do so. It seems like he's expecting more aggression from Nemiga, and I can understand it, but in this time, they are just going to be sat back waiting. Spiidi zoomed in to this tunnel's position. The clock is ticking. He's got some nades, but it looks like he's just trying to hold them in, not actually go for any sort of fight, and realistically, it's understandable, but a 7th round going to be going onto the board for Nemiga, and I think they won't spot anything into middle. Spiidi will be dying, or should be dying. ZOREE will at least put 1 more into the ground, but MBS has actually exited in the other direction. Might have been an idea to go together there, just so that there's more of a chance of trading him out if he is holding for exits, but I guess they just assumed he was saving.
It shouldn't matter a massive amount, especially with the lead that Nemiga have. I mean, their economy could come into play, but it's more just they're already doing so well on this T side. Unless HAVU can start to win 1 or 2 of these gun rounds, it's going to really start to slip away from them. And Spiidi even lands a shot on the cross. sLowi down to 26 health. This time there isn't as much of a commitment to A-Long, so HAVU can't hold this position early. The upside is they've got players at mid, they've got players peeking into lower tunnels right now. So HAVU have got some information and some map control elsewhere, but the A site is still so weak. They're pushing up through mid, but there's only one CT here, and Soar's not ready for them. The pace of Nemiga gets them into play in this round. And with the bomb down on A in a 5v4, HAVU's chances at winning this are really low, especially with that follow-up frag from JO. Oh, it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, it really has. Everything seems to be going wrong for them at the moment. Maybe even just picking the CT side at the start was a wrong decision from HAVU. Hoody eventually is going to get that first and a second kill. It's not bad, especially considering the money still hasn't really been built up. But they'll get the kill in the end anyway. 8-1. CT side again, can't really go for an invest when you've got Hoody and Saw with enough to buy, but the rest are still down in the dumps. As of right now, HAVU have yet to show up to the party, and from dead even odds at the beginning of this match, we now see Nemiga firmly in the lead, and, well, who would bet against them now? Maybe you would.
Yeah, if you want to, you can go ahead and take that bet.
You personally.
Me
you
specifically.
No, I'm kidding.
I thought you were specifically talking to Twitch chat then, and to be fair, Twitch chat do some crazy things sometimes.
Hey, they're the big brains of the whole operation.
They are. Without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Without them, who would put all those POG champs in chat?
Exactly. You know, and those POG champs are really what power those high-level plays. Without the POG champs, I don't think it would be possible. In fact, the reason why there haven't been many plays for HAVU right now is we haven't got enough Finns in the chat spamming the poggers. So get on that, guys. Maybe things will turn around. It's a nice smoke. They're not going to use it, but it's a nice smoke.
Yeah, once again, Nemiga, they've claimed long control. The CTs are actually fairly well set up for this, though. They've got 4 players on the A site, 1 waiting in middle. It's only going to be if there's some sort of aggressive peak that might give the game away, might give an opportunity for Spiidi. They're playing very patiently, but they are going to eventually have to move up, and with no real opportunity to rotate back towards the B site now, they are going to be fully dedicated in. Smokes over the top might actually help out the CTs a little bit with their gaze over. So they are going to go pushing in. MDS taking a big risk. He's almost side by side. He's made the realization. There's one. A second coming up for him with Box combining. Nice shot from sLowi. Haven't seen a jump in Scout in a while. Definitely not a jumping no-scope Scout headshot. Oh, that's a mouthful. And that's also what MDS took from that Scout. 9-1.
Yeah, that was rough, especially because HAVU, it looked like we're in a pretty good position. It looks like that player's floating, right? Like that dude's just floating.
Floating.
Straight up a magic trick. That's a throwback for me. Back to primary school days.
What was the?
Do you remember he's got the whole world in his hands? Oh,
yeah, but isn't that from the snowman?
Oh, floating in the air. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Still a throwback to primary school.
It's a big throwback. That was like the kids' film. I think that's still on like every year.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, whole world. That's. I'm guessing you went to religious school then.
It wasn't that religious. It's just that we sang religious songs.
Yeah, I was about to say that is a song about God holding the whole world in his hands. I don't think you get much more religious than that.
Sure.
I'm liking the bomb cam. I don't think the bomb gets enough credit, enough showtime.
I agree. The bomb underrated in Counter-Strike. Sometimes teams forget about it.
When are we getting bomb skins? I want a camo skin.
That could get really annoying real quick.
I know.
You're a man of mischief, Tom.
Hey, it beeps. You should be able to find it based off sound. Invisible bomb. You just have to pay 4,000 euros to get it.
You know what? There'd be people that will buy that, which is the...
Yeah, losers, I agree.
Well, back into the action, because right now, HAVU, unfortunately, are the losers. 9-1 down. They haven't lost yet, which is the one thing that they can take, and they can try and come back into this one. sLowi has switched up his position completely, playing over at A long now, and oh god, oh no. Well, I mean, I don't know what he was expecting there.
Why not? Well, ZOREE has managed to find a trade, and Spiidi now the only man left on long. The push coming in, and Hoody's just been wrecked. They might line up, not quite. svyat's going to know that he needs to try and find this duel, desperately hoping to bait out the shot. Jayo's found a kill, and Lollipop comes in from behind. It's all going to come down to the plant, which will be happening. Doto can't quite deny it as he pushes in through short. Now, Jayo, again, there is no need to peek. There is no need to peek. You have got your AWPer holding the cross. You do not need to fight this. Doto has hit the dink already. He's in with a chance. Jayo a little bit worried about the cross, but well done, my friend. You learned your lesson after having a bullet in your face. I think you'd probably learn a lot of lessons from that. Maybe forget some as well, but either way, it is going to be 10-1. And yeah, I'm starting to... Well, I didn't really have any positives to begin with, but if I did, they would have run out by now.
Yeah, 10-1. Nemiga having fun. HAVU definitely not having fun, I think it's fair to say. Oh, Hoodie's taking a shot on the cross as well. They had the smoke, they just decided not to use it. They wanted Hoodie to take damage, apparently. Push coming into tunnels, so at least that's some control and some information for HAVU to work with, although MDS will spot that out. So they know they've lost this B side of the map over on the Nemiga side of things. And Nemiga are actually now moving back towards tunnels. I guess they want to regain that control, retake that position, and as soon as they do, they might realize that the B side of the map has been left very weak by HAVU. It's actually Hoodie here alone on his 19 health, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I like the idea, especially I like that the player on long bought a smoke. Just to deny if they did want to try and take long while the remaining players were stacking up into middle. This is a much more proactive look from HAVU, though, and I almost want to see this happen in some of the actual rounds, because that's been one of the main issues that I've had with this squad, is that, at least in the early stages of the game, they were very, very static, so they didn't know where any of the pushes were coming in. They couldn't try and predict an Nemiga, which is hard enough as it is. But with how quick, once the executes begin, Nemiga actually are, it becomes very tough. Now, the timing might just work out for them here. That nade is going to dunk straight onto two players. This sets Hoodie up wonderfully, and finally, we see the rise from HAVU. The trade's coming back firmly in their favor, and it's looking like the first round from them is going to come off the back of pistols. Spiidi gives it a good go, though. At least reduces the amount of weaponry they'll be able to take, but Doto has done a fantastic job. The first player on his team to hit double digits, and maybe if they can grind it back at least to 4, I would say, they have a chance.
Some signs of life from HAVU in this round, which we needed to see. Doto with the quad kill in this round with the MP9, I believe. Doing great work there on the B-bomb site. And again, sLowi is now going back to B, so it looks like that switch up previously was just a small switch for that one specific round. Doto is there to help him if necessary, but Nemiga have got the A-long control that they were looking for early into this game. Jayo sticking with the AWP instead of Spiidi right now. That's a bit of a surprise, but it's worked for him. Blind through the smoke. Jayo doesn't give a damn. He gets the first kill, box with one of his own, and, well, HAVU win with the lower buy, but now that they've got the rifles out, it's continuing to go against them.
Yeah, again, a pace change. Lollipop just looking for these aggressive faces again. Somewhat unnecessary, but as long as he's trading evenly, I guess it's not so much of a problem. A second AWP even being picked up just to hold for Jayo. Shouldn't be much of an opportunity here, and while he's just not missing, a second one for him as well. This has been a fantastic performance across the board for Nemiga. Something that I don't think we see too often with everybody stepping up. But yeah, it hasn't just been the Lollipop and Spiidi show, although they have both been performing well.
Make sure to check out Hellcase. You can use the code SLTV15 for a 15% refill bonus. You can also enter, or open, I should say, the Hell Cup 8 Pro case to help contribute to that dynamic prize pool, now up to over $30,000, which Nemiga look more likely to get a bigger share of right now because they have an 11-2 lead here. They also have a P90 against them. ZOREE picking up the Pro 90 into this round. I guess when all else fails, you go back to the first gun you used in the game, which I used to love the P90 back in the day. I still have a P90 with like 1,000 stat track kills in it, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I'm pretty sure like my P90 for some reason is called Ainsley Harrier. Is a stat track and has a fair amount of kills. It also has some ridiculous stickers on it, but let's not go there.
Is that the kind of thing you might get cancelled for, Tom?
No. It's not. Like, you can't do anything too bad with stickers.
True.
Oh dear, how's this gone from a 3v2 to a 2v1 so quickly? Hoodie on completely the wrong side of the map, although the bomb, he's going to find the bomb.
What? Nemiga aren't even going for the bomb. Where are they going?
Oh, this is
This is where we need bomb cam. Or
yeah.
Nemiga need bomb cam.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
they're
thing
going
is
back.
that they should know, and maybe they know the Hoodie's going to be here. It won't matter. MDS just domes him, and that is going to be a 12th onto the board, 12-2. Now, HAVU, remember, picked the CT side as a start. They've always been better on the T side, but if you are going to be able to drag a game back, this just doesn't seem like the time you're going to be able to do it. And while even somewhat look like they might have given up a little bit here, because if your best player is ending up with a P90 in one of the rounds, then I would say that you've given up. Nice shot from sLowi, though. He is going to find one of those opening kills, and looks like a tag's been hit onto box as well. Jo, though, is just legging it out long. All the way through, they peek in. He actually misses the shot, and the scout is going to do some damage elsewhere. Hoodie not in a bad position to try and deny them, but it's all onto him. Maybe Saw can get there in time to at least help out a little bit, but he's got a kill nonetheless, making things look a little bit more doable. There's a couple of low players. Hoodie has found another, looking to try and drag them through this round, even picking up one more, and now MDS is left alone.
Yeah, I think the fact that Jo seems to now be AWPing over Spiidi in these last couple of rounds gives you an idea of the fact that Nemiga are very happy with how this is going. I think they're taking it nice and relaxed at this point, but it's still a third round on the board for HAVU, a much-needed one at that. Keeps them somewhat closer in this game, but it's still very difficult to see them coming back into this. We get those sides switched over ahead of this second half pistol, and I can confirm that to any Finns that have just tuned in, HAVU are not winning 12-3. That's going to switch round in a second, and you're going to be very sad, because Nemiga are the ones who are just smashing it right now. And if they win this CT pistol, it could be all but over here in this series.
They desperately need this pistol round, and Jo has got other ideas, already going to be finding the opener and spots them pushing through. Now, I'm not sure the position of Lollipop was the right call. In fact, he's actually going to exchange with Jo. Box has found one, but there's still a kill onto Long, and Doto, alongside ZOREE with those P250s, are able to take some of these battles a little bit more safely, have the chance at these ranged engagements. Again, we're going to see the bomb planted, but can they hold on in the after-plant situation?
Well, Nemiga are taking their time here, and the double peek comes in. Doto there to help sLowi out in that fight. MDS is thinking of sneaking through the smoke. He spotted that first man. Two players on the site. The first man's gone, but they know there's a second man here, and Doto's so low, as is ZOREE. It's up to Lollipop, though. He's got to turn on both these players. Oh, no, he's not. Well, he is eventually going to get that kill, but he's desperately searching for this second man, and ZOREE should be able to just buy enough time here. He can continue to look. There's the kill, but it's too late for Lollipop. The pistol round goes the way of HAVU, and they keep themselves in this game by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, the surprising thing for me in that scenario was that there seemed to be a lack of communication for Nemiga. Like, Lollipop runs back towards CT spawn. Jo then runs out of CT spawn. And when they had the call that the short play was coming in, rather than actually get two players onto the site, they decide to sort of run away. Like, they had opportunities to just fight it outright, and that's what I expect to see from Nemiga. Then in the retake, it did just look disjointed. There didn't seem to be much communication there at all. Either way, we are going to have the force buy up from Nemiga, but this is still a good opportunity now for HAVU to get back into this match.
And Nemiga have had struggles at times on this CT side of Dust2, which I referenced earlier. So if there were a way for HAVU to come back into it, this would be it. Fox taking a bit of damage from the flames, which he has to extinguish. And with MDS falling on the B side of the map and no one else anywhere near B, HAVU have clearly got this one in the bag. They've also got a door smoke lined up, which doesn't fully smoke off the doors. So hopefully they have just figured that out. Hopefully they're aware of that. And sLowi actually just lands a shot with the scout. So Nemiga might not even be allowed to save these guns into the next, which is what they'd like to do. HAVU are just hunting them down here.
Yep, just going to wipe out all the remaining weaponry, which means going into this next round, there'll be next to nothing for Nemiga. You can see maybe an investment into a deagle or something, but even that, I would say, is a bit of a push. I'd rather just see them, well, go for a bit of a push. Take the fight up top mid, just try and get rid of any weaponry. Don't allow for any real confidence to be built by just having that round over as quick as it can, and then go into round number 19 with a full purchase. It looks like that is what they're going for as well. It's going to be a mid push. I like it.
Yeah. You can also just wait for a bit at the mid doors in case someone goes a bit too far into the open, but Nemiga look like they want to take matters into their own hands here with a couple of players ready to peek this position. sLowi goes off the angle just as they all emerge, so he takes a ton of damage there. In comes Doto into lower tunnels though, and I think HAVU have got a good read on the situation. Oh, hoody not expecting that player up close, but he can duck into cover. Oh, not for much longer though. Spiidi takes him out of the round, but HAVU should... Well, wait, they don't have the bomb. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
he
a bit
has the
awkward.
bomb. I don't think they'll be able to defend it, but you can see that sLowi's being a little bit careful.
One bullet. No.
Not sure how much more damage they can do. Jayo needs an instant 1D pretty much, and Spiidi will still be able to get one. Oh, that got scary for a second. And even just that on its own is a very good round for Nemiga. They invested barely anything, a deagle, maybe a flashbang, and that was about it, and they managed to get 3 kills. So, yeah, hugely successful. 12-6. Now Spiidi comes in with his AWP. Everybody else has the rifles, utility as well. So this is where we get the true test of HAVU. If there is going to be an attempt at a comeback, or if this is just going to be short-lived.
They're going to start this round by just spreading across the board, not looking for too much map control early. Lurk smoke deployed into B, but MDS can see past that. If he did this every time that Lurk smoke was in play, then he'd have some issues, because I'm sure teams would start to figure that out and they'd start to spam him. But this time around, he's just going for it as a bit of an unexpected position, just to make sure that he's safe on the B side of things. And I think MDS should be spotting that there's not much of a commitment, even though there are some nades being deployed on B. Spiidi has rotated over, but the rest of Nemiga are staying put on the A side of the map. And HAVU are now starting to move into short, where Box is here to try and stop them.
Doesn't manage to find anything. Spiidi has been tagged, but also given out a tag. And the nade not actually going to do as much as they probably would have liked. Now, there's 2 players currently around the ramp. I'm not sure this is going to be expected, and I do wonder if one of them is going to go for a far more aggressive peek. Jayo, he's the one that's been spotted though, so he needs to be the one taking the fight if they are going to go for anything sort of spicy here, but instead it's going to be the force back off. Doto, he's left his opponent blind, forced him back into the open, but they haven't even seen that there is still a second player here, still lurking around the backline. This is becoming a little bit too awkward, but a nice shot from ZOREE. Do they expect anybody else to be this close? It doesn't seem like it. sLowi will go down for free, caught reloading as the rest of the team look to rotate in, and there are some very low HP players at the moment from HAVU, but the ground needs to be closed. There currently isn't a kit available for the CT side, so they have to get moving. Push in from Spiidi, Jayo as well, MDS on the trade, Lollipop goes forward, and they've cleared them all out in a matter of seconds, needing to get on that defusal, but they will be absolutely fine.
Yeah, even without the kit, they were quick enough on the retake. HAVU there having a player stuck on the site didn't exactly help. They just didn't have the ideal post-plant positions, especially once MDS wins that fight on short. I think that makes all the difference, because all of a sudden, the HAVU players on the site are exposed from so many different angles. Once short gets opened up to the equation as well, they just kind of have to fight their way out of it. And that was always going to be easier said than done. Nemiga working together on that retake to take a 13-6 lead. And double AWPs in play for Nemiga into this round. Jayo picking one up to focus on the mid position, while Spiidi takes his AWP over to a long. HAVU not looking for the long control again, though. They're going for a similar default to that previous round.
Yeah, this could be it, though. If this round doesn't go their way, financially they'll be in trouble as well. Not only looking at the fact that there's so many rounds missing. Jayo with a secondary AWP, he's had a very good game. 18 and 10. This time we have Spiidi waiting on the more aggressive angle. Molotov will force him out of position. Looked like for a second he was going to try and play behind it, but instead just going to use his own utility to try and regain some control. But sLowi has managed to get past the angle, so he's got to be a bit careful here. In fact, he's going to go peeking back for the cross in mid. Now, with short control already lost, it's understandable that that's the case. Lollipop will still regain control of long. And we fall more into a bit of a stalemate as the T is waiting patiently. That was so close to an opening kill, but JO not going to get it.
Oh, that smoke just hit a teammate. That didn't go where they wanted it to. It just got blocked on short, and now HAVU don't have as many smokes here on this A fake. So Nemiga continue to have the information. They know they need to be ready on B, and JO could be up to the challenge. He's already got the first man. Make it a second. The AWP now alone on the site, though. He's got to do even more work to hold this down, but his teammates are helping him. JO moving into this position at the back of the bomb site, hoping he can land one more shot. He's buying time, but eventually he gets run down. He's allowed the rotate to come in, though, and with 9 seconds, this could be it. He could deny it. Lollipop doesn't deny the plant, but he gets the kill he was looking for, and it's up to Doto with the Deg in hand. 2 different angles to deal with. He takes the first fight, but it's not favorable for him. Lollipop wins it out, and like you said, HAVU's money isn't going to be great, even with the bomb plant. That could be the end of this one for them, with Nemiga up to a 14-6 lead.
Oh, that's a horrible view.
I know. It really got me at the end there.
I will say that even in that afterplant situation, it makes me so uncomfortable that Lollipop doesn't wait for his teammate. He just runs through and just takes the fight. I know it's confidence. I know that's how he plays, but you just see a moment there where it's 2 1v1s and HAVU managed to win a round, which they never really should have done. Some decent trades back for them in that round at least, but it doesn't really matter, and you can see what purchase they've come up with. Mostly pistols, an AK, and a singular scout for ZOREE, who is still yet to really have that same standout performance. And when there's multiple players on Nemiga at the moment just showing up, it's going to be tough for them to bring this one back now. Of course, neither of these teams will be eliminated with the loss today. There will still be a lower bracket match, and the winner, of course, will continue in the upper bracket, which obviously the quicker and easier way to get yourself through. Incendiary going to go down from box, not really wanting to take the fight versus all of those pistols, and maybe the realization will mean that we get a peek out. The tag actually hit onto JO though, and it does look like the T's now may try to actually pressure him a little bit, knowing that he's tagged low.
1 minute left for HAVU, but they've got all their players positioned in the tunnels right now, so it looks like they may have made up their minds as to where they want to end this round. Utility being exchanged on B, and a third player for Nemiga close by. Oh, and MDS is up close. Great position to get himself 2 kills in quick succession. And now HAVU have got a really tough task on their hands here. I doubt they're going to be able to overcome this. Too many CTs waiting in the wings. It's Box who rotates over to finish the job. It's a 15-6 lead for Nemiga, and it's looking like a really convincing series here from the Nemiga side of things. Just their individuals has been the biggest difference. They've obviously played pretty well tactically. They've played pretty well as a team, but some of their players have showed up to a superb level today. And this is the Nemiga that can be very difficult to play against. When their entire team shows up, they can be completely deadly. They can be completely overpowering. And that's the Nemiga that we've seen today.
Yeah, it's the Nemiga we saw during the RMR tournament that managed to cause some upsets, fight versus the likes of Na'Vi, and it's the Nemiga we're seeing today. This should be a trade kill. I don't know how JO's managed to get away with that, but his utility usage has kept him safe, and more importantly, kept this round even. This is a big risk from Spiidi. Box is actually going to be the one to go down. Surely Saw can't get 2 kills here. Even still, he's given them a path onto this site. Only a single round needed. The best opportunity for Nemiga to just close this game quickly. We saw them throw away a massive lead versus Na'Vi. Of course, HAVU not quite on that level just yet, but a round like this could definitely put the win back into their sails. Counter utility being expended, and I do wonder if there's going to be a moment where Nemiga just realized that this is not worth going for.
Oh, I don't think Nemiga have the same idea that you do, Tom. They're going to go for it. MDS running in first, and the time is pretty far gone on that bomb. They're going to run in. They've got a smoke for it, which maybe could come into play, but there's just no time here. I don't think they can do this, and they get swept out by Saw at the end with the Tech 9. So HAVU get another round on the board, but yeah, again, remember, this was even odds between these two teams at the start of this game, and it's just not panned out that way. And I was kind of with you that I thought that HAVU might have a good chance in this game, but honestly, they've just been lacking across the board. And I guess just Nemiga being the informed team has really translated into this game, especially on these first two maps, right? Mirage and Dust2, if your individuals are going to fire on those two maps, it's so tough to try and counter that.
Yeah, and I think as well that there have been things that Nemiga are doing that if a team was looking to counter them, they would be able to do it relatively easy. Like, even that last round, in isolation, that last round is really silly. Like, it's just Nemiga trying to close out the match, but instead, they just destroy their own economy for the sake of it. Nice shots coming out from ZOREE, though. It would be good to see him wake up in this series. 3 kills with the Deg, of course, facing off against unarmored pistols, but it wouldn't have mattered with the headshots he was hitting. Spiidi got a little bit extra in this one. Just a 5-7, of course. But we'll see whether or not he can take a gun. It looks like it might be too little too late, although hoody. Okay, I think he made the wise decision there not to run out through spawn. I was going to sort of question that quite heavily if he had decided to go in that direction. Unfortunately for Spiidi, no weaponry, so it looks like he'll just have a spare 5-7 going into the next round.
I guess not the worst thing to save if he is going to be AWPing. Always nice to have a secondary weapon, but obviously would have preferred a gun. Yeah, good shots from ZOREE here. Haven't seen enough of this from him, but racking up some kills in that round. Hopefully that can continue, at least as long as HAVU are alive in this series, because they've still got to win 7 rounds in a row just for overtime here on their map pick. Early a long battle from Nemiga. This is a setup that Nemiga like to run sometimes, where they stack 4 players on A long early. They put an AWP solo on B to hold that area of the map down, and then they'll start to rotate back around. Problem is, look at HAVU. They're already moving through mid. They're already moving into this B-sided split, and MDS has to fight aggressively, which he will. Doto there to trade. Oh, Doto makes it a second, and that might make all the difference here. JO completely isolated on the B site, and Nemiga keep on fighting, but it's not working out for them.
Yeah, this is the side of Nemiga that you never really want to see. Little team play, and it just opens things up for Doto to wreck them. He's up to 22 kills. They're still having a reasonable game considering the scoreline. There have been a relative amount of close rounds throughout this match so far, but that was really clean from him. And the kill that ZOREE actually gets was pretty damn important, taking down the one remaining member of the B side. Not that it mattered, because everybody just continued to face that final man. And once again, there's going to be no finances left for Nemiga. hoody going to be blasting his way out long with support, flashbangs being thrown, but they leave him blind as well. Lollipop will get one, and they've missed a player, but it seems like Doto was aware. The push from Saw continues, low on HP, so he has to be a little bit careful, wanting to allow another gun to hit the deck. Not that it really matters, as they've got enough finances to continue to buy until either they equalize things or lose.
Bomb has been planted.
JO's just chilling with the USP. I think a couple of people in Twitch chat starting to believe in the comeback, Tom. It's getting there with 10 rounds now for HAVU. The way Nemiga have been playing, though, you could absolutely see a world in which one of the players steps up. There's no way for the Ninja here, not without the kit. JO's just looking for kills at the end. And Saw in pit is low on health. I don't think he'll get the angle, though, before seeing someone else. And oh no, he's not landing the shots. Could have got the kill on ZOREE there. I think if he had any other weapon, he might have got that. But the USP, not ideal in those circumstances. Here we go then. Nemiga with another gun round. JO picking up the AWP. This has been a real surprise to me. JO is continuing to AWP over Spiidi. I know he's been good as that secondary AWPer, and he's been having a good game. But we've seen Spiidi be capable of some incredible things with the AWP. So I guess this is JO just making the call that he's having a good game, and he wants to have that AWP in his hands.
I think a lot of the time it's down to positioning. He had a good spot to get that AWP in play. It is going to be an early trade, but I feel like the T's have still come out on top here, and with the pressure coming in onto short, they do have to be careful. It seems like somebody has just switched their angle to make sure that it can't just be all done. In fact, JO is going to connect another shot. Now, they know where he is, or have at least a rough idea. Doto trying to wait for any sort of rotation to come back in, and ZOREE is going to have to play a fairly big part in this, but there goes JO, and now it's left onto just one man on the side. Getting away from this is going to be tough, and nice shot as well. The flank coming in from Spiidi, though, looking to try and just plow his way through the smoke. It's a bit of a whiff, but he gets the spray done in the end. And now dropping the bomb, he's actually going to look to try and reposition. This could be quite clever, making his way all the way through long. I don't think this will be expected by Doto, who is just going to be looking around, probably a little bit confused, as the bomb is going to be planted. Now, he's still watching in that direction. Ooh. The timing's going to be perfect, and whoa, it's a little bit messy, but Spiidi has finished off the game. Great work from him. Don't celebrate too much, my friend, as you do still have to defuse that bomb, so please don't make me watch you with this, but it will be a fantastic performance from Nemiga. From start to finish, from game one all the way through, they have managed to dominate HAVU, and I'll be honest, it didn't really look like the Finns showed up today.
No, not
all of them, at least.
Yeah, definitely not, and not quickly enough on Dust2, because they did start to get rolling at the ends there. It was just too late. They were too far behind at that point. You were always going to see Nemiga step up with one of their players. Spiidi winning that clutch at the end there. Nicely done. That at that end almost reminded me of like when you celebrate on FIFA or something. You just do like dumb stuff. You always have like, the shush. Shh. Yeah, the shush is the classic.
Gotta run around. There's some other ones as well, where you like wave your arms.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird ones.
Bunch of really cringy celebrations, but you know, the worst one will always be the dab.
Yeah, what?
Everybody knows that.
I used to play like before the dab was a thing, and as soon as I saw that added, I was like, nope, I'm never going back.
Are we gonna get the floss?
I really hope not.
I feel like you look like the sort of kid that would be good at the floss.
I take that as that's the worst insult I can imagine, Tom.
I don't know. You just with your frame, it looks like the floss would just suit you.
All right, I can't say I've ever tried to floss, Tom. So you might be right. Maybe I'm the best.
An expert, I guarantee.
I'm probably the best flosser in the world. I've just never tried.
I can see it. That'll be your new call. You'll replace the backpack kid.
All right, I'd take that. I'm sure the backpack kid's doing very well for himself.
I hope not.
You just hate everyone, Tom.
Oh, I hate that dance, that's for sure. That's one thing I wish was never invented, and the fact that that kid has probably become a millionaire of creating the floss. He even got Ninja to do it. Come on, guys. Come on, everyone. You know, that didn't work, did it?
No. How do you feel about the robot?
Robot's alright.
Yeah.
Crouchy did it,
yeah.
so that made it cool. I'm sure there were plenty of other people who did it before he did, but you know, Crouchy's the one.
Yeah, no one really understands.
But yeah, back to the point.
Oh yeah, Counter-Strike.
Basically, Nemiga, like, they were so far in the lead after the first half, there was always going to be that thought that they would take it over the line. Few heroic moments coming out. I think Saw had a reasonable game. Doto as well. There were a few rounds where he was able to clutch things out, but overall, I think ZOREE having a little bit of an underwhelming performance with the AWP. In fact, I would say he was probably the third best AWPer in this match, which, considering, is a little bit worrying. I think JO had a very good performance, and Spiidi was definitely up there as well. So hopefully we'll see HAVU come back going into that lower bracket, of course. Some of the teams that have fallen down there so far might be a little bit tougher to beat than you might think. They've played against Endpoint not too long ago, and it was a relatively tough match for them to take. So we'll have to see if they are going to have enough to take it over the line. But yeah, definitely towards the end this got worrying. But this play from Spiidi, it was very well thought out. Smart stuff from him, and he closed out the match.
Yeah, I might have a quick look to see who they will be playing in the lower bracket, because like you said, there are some good teams in there. I think it looks like Nemiga will be playing against ESPADA in that lower bracket. Which
Nemiga won.
Yes. It would be hard for them to be playing in the lower bracket. HAVU will be playing ESPADA in that lower bracket.
That's a game they should take.
Yeah.
I've liked some of the matches. Yeah, maybe a Dust2 might be something they shy away from, because that's one of the maps that ESPADA have actually been quite good on as recently. And Nemiga, this is one of their worst maps, if anything. So if you've just lost it to Nemiga, maybe don't play against ESPADA. But in terms of depth, I think that's where ESPADA are lacking a little bit. So I would favor HAVU quite favorably to go through that one. But of course, there's plenty of other decent teams who've gone down into the lower bracket as well. So it's not going to be as easy. We've got Nordavind in there. Oh, here we go. We can actually have a look at the brackets. That's a much better idea than us just trying to work it out in our heads. But yeah, Hard Legion facing off against Sprout. I would favor Sprout quite heavily in that match. But if Hard Legion play the way that they did the other day, having to come back massively to get themselves through. forZe versus Nemiga, though, that's going to be a banger. Like a match that we didn't really get to see, at least in the RMR event, because forZe actually went out in the qualifier. So we'll see if they can bounce back and maybe take a victory there. And then in the lower bracket, of course, this will be elimination matches. Endpoint versus Nordavind is brutal, to be honest. Like, that's going to be a really rough game. One of the teams being the first one out of the playoffs. And then, of course, ESPADA versus HAVU. As said, ESPADA, a bit of a rough opposition, but either way, this would have been a tough task for them anyway. So, of course, that will be coming up tomorrow. Those are our lower bracket elimination matches, which you should definitely tune in for. But from what I know, that is us done for today. Those are our 2 best of 3s. It's a pretty simple day. It's not that late in the evening, so I'm quite happy. And, well, you ready for tomorrow?
I'm so ready. I'm ready for Endpoint to get eliminated and to cry. No, I'm definitely not going to floss. Never. Maybe if the prize pool reaches 100k, I'll floss, Tom.
You realize you don't get any of that money.
I know I don't get any of that money.
So you're basically going, I want other people to get money for me to do something I don't want to do. Well, something I unfortunately have to do is say goodbye. We'll be back again tomorrow, I think the same time, 11 CEST, so make sure you're here then. From us at StarLadder and Hellcase. See you then.